Hello friends, this video on Organisms and Population part 16 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from it. So we saw so many different ways by different organisms adjust so that they can live in a particular environment. Some of them regulate, some conform, some migrate, while others suspend for a specific period of time. Now, when we talk about so much of adaptation, so these are all ways organisms adapt. So adaptations are features and habits of organisms to better suit to an environment. Now, a lot of organisms, they behave in specific ways to adjust to the environment. A lot of them have certain features within their body. So those features have developed with evolution, and those features help them to suit to a particular environment. So on the screen you can see two examples. One is for the camel, the other one is for the bear. So both of them are very much different from each other, both structurally, physically, and with regards to the metabolic activities happening within their body. So let's talk about the camel. In case of camel, they live in deserts where there is scarcity of water, and I'm sure you would know this, that a camel can survive without water for even 14 to 20 days. Now, which is not possible for most of the animals, including human beings. Can we live without water for a very long time? We can't. But the camels can. Similarly, the camels also have special structures on their feet, because of which they can walk very easily on sand. So these are kind of changes which are there in camel. Now, why is camel able to they live without water for such a long time? Because within the camel's body there is a mechanism through which it can store water for future use. So during emergency, that water from inside its body itself can be utilized. So that means different organisms are adapted in different ways. You talk about the bear, especially the polar bears. You will see that they are white in color and they have a thick fur and a layer of additional fat to provide them insulation, because they need to survive in extremely cold climate. So they need to have mechanisms which will provide them warmth. So let's talk about the adaptations of polar bear. Thick fur, which keep them warm, white in color, that helps them to catch their prey and also help them from attack from any other organism, because the background color in polar regions is also white because it is completely covered with snow. So the white color of polar bear help them not to be seen very easily by its prey. Fat layer under the skin, and fat again provides an additional insulation to the body. Wide and large paws, which help them to to commute over snow covered areas. Strong ability to smell, this again helps them to catch their prey, so they can smell and sense the presence of their prey in the vicinity. Small ears. Now, if any organism has big ears, then the loss of heat through the ears would also be more. Now here, the animal wants more and more heat to be present within its body so that it can survive or it can overcome the cold weather. So that's why they have small ears, so that the heat loss through the ears is very less. They have sharp teeth which help them to eat other animals. Similarly, when you look at the adaptation of camel, so that it is going to be very much different from that of the polar bear. For example, camel have large feet which is padded in a special way that helps it to walk over the sand. Bushy eyelashes. Why do they need to have bushy eyelashes? Because they live in desert areas where with wind, sand keeps flying away here and there. So their bushy eyelashes prevent sand from entering inside their eye. So that's the benefit. They have a hump which is used to store water, and that can be used for future use, because deserts generally have scarcity of water. So that way they can conserve so much of water. They have a thick coat which again helps them to overcome the cold nights in desert. In desert, you also see that the plants which are found there are very much different from those which are found in the forest areas. So these plants are specifically they have adapted so that they can survive in the desert. So what are the adaptations? So in many of these plants, especially cactus, you can see that leaves have been modified to spines. You know why? Because the loss of water from the spine is less, but the loss of water from leaves is more. the process of transpiration, where water is lost from the surface of the leaves through the stomata. So that's why the leaves have been modified to spines. Stomata is located in deep pits. So stomata is present deep inside, so that if the stomata is present on the outside, then again the water loss through stomata will keep happening more frequently. So that is why they are present in deep pits, so that they are not in direct contact with the atmosphere, and therefore the loss of water through the stomata would be less. So transpiration rate will be less, and therefore there will be minimum water loss. Stomata closed during the day. The stomata doesn't open during the day at all. So obviously if it doesn't open, there can be no loss of water. So all these modifications are done to ensure that the water loss is reduced. So that is the main agenda in case of desert plants, because we want plants and animals which survive in the desert should be capable of surviving with less requirement of water. So that's how. Now the question is, who designed these plants? So these plants have evolved on their own in the past thousands of years, and gradually these changes have come into them in order to adapt to the particular environment. Like how we have learned the lesson on evolution, right? So there we saw that how everything, all the living organisms that we see today, you talk about animals, plants, birds, insects, anything, they all had a common ancestor once upon a time. So all the changes had happened on its own. The animals wanted to survive. That's how they started adapting, and in the course of adaptation certain new features got added to that organism. So that's how these adaptations have also taken place in the desert plants. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.